Hey, what's up, team? This is Coach Last with Mental Grit, and I want to welcome you out to the Mind Check Week. Now, the Mind Check Week could come after or before the rest week, so keep that in mind. But this week is all about checking our mental state and changing our mental state to a place that is helpful and facilitative rather than hurtful and debilitative. Sometimes we can find our mental form, I guess you could say, in a bad place, and that's okay. Just like we find ourselves in a physical form that might not be helpful or very effective, or it just isn't in the right place to help us go fast, well, we can always change those elements physically. Same thing goes for our minds. We need to make sure that we have something that you can do in order to change your mindset to be more helpful rather than hurtful. So with that being said, let's jump straight into it. Now, the question really does come up here of what is the most optimal mind state? And that's going to be different for everybody. I want you to be creative in these ideas of what is the most optimal mindset for you. Is it being, putting your attention and your focus on a happy place? I mean, are we going Happy Gilmore here with his happy place, right? Do you need to put it on a specific phrase or a mantra that you've developed in the past that's very, very meaningful to you? Is there, a place that you need to put it on the focus, or do you not, or sorry, on the process, on your technique, on your strategy, on executing that strategy? Do you need to put it on something that doesn't have to do with triathlon at all? You're in training, you're in in a race or whatever it might be. Sometimes some people are really helped by really getting out of their body and having engaging in things that are not necessarily triathlon specifically. So everybody has their own things, and I want you to figure this out for you. Go back into your experiences in the past, and I want you to think about where do you put your mindset? Where have you put your mindset in the past that's been the most helpful? Is it just on positive things? Is it on your body? Is it on your mind? Is it on the person in front of you or achievement, whatever it might be? Now, there is a science to this, and there is a quote-unquote answer to where you can put your mind for optimal state. And I want to introduce that to you really quick with these 5 lines. They say, in based on research here and based on the last 100 years within sports psychology, they say that when an athlete puts their focus and attention on the process, that they will be more effective, right? The process before the outcome. If they put their effective focus on strength before weakness, they're going to be a lot more effective. They're going to be a lot more performance-based. If they focus on growth and development over having this fixed, I have to prove myself mindset, then they're going to have a better performance outcome, as well as focusing on achievement before avoidance, or you're going after what you want rather than what you don't want. And lastly, this earning it and owning it over entitlement. A lot of people find themselves, especially the millennials, in this entitlement mindset, like they don't have to do any work. And if they make mistakes, that's a bad thing. But the fact is that when you put yourself into okay, I'm going to earn this and I'm going to own it. Whatever mistakes I make, whatever it might be, I'm going to own my failures. I'm going to learn from them. You're going to be in a better performance state. So that's what the science says. Again, process before outcome, strength before weakness, growth before fixed, achievement before avoidance, and earning it and owning it before entitlement. And if you want to use any of these specific phrases, and if they're meaningful for you, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. But the whole point of today, right, is coming up actually with 3 specific cues that you can use to develop a better mindset or a more effective form in your mind. And these can be very different. These can be phrases, these can be images, these can be memories, these can be mantras, these can be really detailed experiences that you've had in the past, and being able to bring it up in your mind. But the fact is that I need you to come up with 3. I need you to come up with 3 specific things that you can turn to make sure, or to put yourself in a more effective and a more beneficial mindset if you do find yourself in a negative and effective debilitative mindset. So that's the whole purpose of today, and it's going to be different for everybody. So this is where the hard part comes up. I want you to, first off, describe exactly what that optimal mindset is, and get really, really descriptive with it. Are you putting yourself in a process focus and focusing on specific things? If you are, what things are they? What are those specific foci that you're putting your attention on? Are you putting yourself in a happy place? And if you are, where is that happy place, and what is it all about? And describe it, in as much detail as you possibly can. Once you have done that, I simply want you to grab a keyword or a phrase or an image, something that you can turn to that's very quick and easy that will bring up this mindset or this state that you're describing. So if I were to go through an example here really quick. One of my most optimal mental forms is in a self-talk place, right? Is being able to say, Nate, you got this. You can do it. And really focusing in on technique and tactics, because I love strategy. I love, especially in the middle of a race, going through strategy in my head, and that's always helpful for me, rather than thinking, oh, this sucks, this hurts, I'm in pain. Yeah, that's all debilitative self-talk. So I want to kind of bring my focus back to, what are the things I can do that I have control over? So for me specifically, my description is really all about, putting yourself in a strategic mindset, thinking about what you want to accomplish within this event, this, that, and the other, right? And my cue specifically for that is a single phrase, and you might have heard it before, but it says control the controllables. Control the controllables brings up this kind of mindset or this mental state that I can be in, or I can put myself into, that is helpful. And it's very quick, it's very easy for, and then it's a simple phrase. I also have a few images that I use, specifically one of my wife crossing her first marathon finish line. That was one of the coolest experiences of my life, and by putting my attention on something like that memory, I'm always able to kind of bring myself into a more helpful, happy mindset in those moments. Lastly, one of my last ones that I utilize is another memory, actually, and I have these all stored away in the back of my mind, and this is something that you're developing as well, so keep that in mind. But this memory is actually one of my first FDP tests that I ever did, and it was one of the most difficult things I've ever done. I remember putting myself into a anaerobic state. My heart rate was way over the top, and that day I actually pushed for 15 minutes when I wanted to quit the entire time. And I actually, took myself to a place mentally and physically that I never had gone before. And just by kind of queuing this up in my mind and having this memory, this image of me at 19 minutes, having just gone through so much pain and so much difficult work, and being able to kind of come out at the end, is what I wanted to bring up in my mind, because when I bring those kinds of things up, it encourages me, and it really facilitates a very energetic state for me. And I want you guys to figure out what yours are. That's the whole point of this. And again, it's going to be different for everybody. So I'm going to quit talking. I'm going to let you figure out what these are for you. But develop your description. What is the memory? What is the thing that you're going to shift your mindset to, or your mind and your attention to, that's going to be helpful? And then create a cue for it. Is it going to be a word? Is it a phrase? Is it an image? Is it a memory of some sort? But have something easy and small that you can look at to quickly, I guess, pick out of your mind and say, okay, this is what I'm going to put my attention on. Because when you have these things, all of a sudden you have the ability to choose to put your attention on those things when you need it most. Again, so with that being said, you're going to have these memories, you're going to have these phrases, you're going to have these words. What I want you to do with these words is simply practice, right? You did the physical body check, and I want you to continue doing the physical body check, putting your attention on form elements that help you go fast. The next thing that I want you to do is that if you ever do find yourself in an ineffective mindset, I simply want you to challenge it. I simply want you to do something about it. If you find yourself there, it's okay. It's okay to find yourself in a negative place. It's not okay to stay there. So make sure you always come back to one of these helpful, mental states that you're, or mental form elements that you're going to be writing down here, and we'll go ahead and move forward from there. So have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing possibly some of your form elements, where you put your mindset, what's most helpful for you, in the comment section below. Keep engaged. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next week.